G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here and watching my content. As always, it is my pleasure and privilege to talk about the greatest game in the world, rugby. And please subscribe. Yes, so I waited and I waited and I waited, and apparently, Rassie Erasmus and Jack Nienaber has decided this week to not announce the Springbok team early. What? What? How am I gonna? What am I gonna do? No one's gonna watch this video now, okay? Because they don't announce the team. Like my viewership relies on Springbok news to survive, okay? So apparently, I'm just gonna have to go without any food this week because, yeah. So they have decided that they're gonna delay the announcement, which means they're probably gonna announce it as soon as I go to bed tonight. And yeah, whatever. And so yeah, when it comes out, we'll talk about it. But yeah, there's a little bit of a speculation of whether the Springboks gonna run 6-2 or 7-1, or maybe even go back to the traditional 5-3. I think the fundamental question is that they're considering, the coaches, these two guys are considering, is that can Handré Pollard play fullback? That is the question. Yeah, because if they're confident about Handré Pollard being able to cover the fullback position, then they will be pretty confident to run 6-2. There's no way they're going to run 7-1 because they're going to put Handré Pollard on the bench, and there's no way they're going to run 7-1 with that setup. So it'll be Handré Pollard and probably, I'm guessing Kobus Reinach on the bench as the second back, and that's it. But that's the question. Really comes down to Pollard's ability to cover the fullback position, because if the greatest Springboks in the history of the Springbok, Damien Willemse, gets hurt, oh my god, then Handré Pollard will have to go on at the fullback position, and I don't remember him ever playing fullback. Yeah, so let me know if he's played it like in the past or in clubs or something, because I can't recall him ever playing fullback for the Springboks. So that's a massive question in a quarterfinal elimination match. If this was, a pool match, I'm sure the management will have full confidence of putting him there, because fly half and fullbacks roles are pretty similar when it comes to the kicking game and whatnot. But in a quarterfinal match, that is a big risk. So I think the coaches are deciding whether they should go 6-2 or 5-3. Yeah, so they might. I think if it's me, I think the coaches might consider 5-3, because the Springbok coaches, like it or not, people think that they're really reckless in their bench selections. They're actually incredibly calculated, and I think the risk of putting Handré Pollard in a position he basically never played before as in the international test is a massive concern for the coaches. And I do think that my prediction is it's going to be 5-3. So they're going to put Kobus Reinach, Handré Pollard, and then Villeroux on the bench. Yeah, that's my prediction. So we'll see how that goes. And it is quite a difficult decision to make there, because it's a massive risk if something should happen to Willemse. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. But with that being said, let's quickly go through some of the results on the weekend. So New Zealand blow out Uruguay 73-0, a better result than Italy. So yeah, all props to Uruguay there. France blown out Italy 60-7. Again, it was horrendous performance by Italy. France had to do it without Antoine Dupont, which is quite impressive. Wales beat Georgia. This was a Wales B team, C team. They had like the third, what was his name? The third fly half on the field. What was his name? Costello. Yeah, Sam Costello, and he was like 100% on his kicking. Very impressive, this kid. His goal kicking was absolutely sublime. Wales walked with quite an easy win, 43-19, with Reece Zammit scoring 3 tries just out of his sheer individual talent. And yeah, so that was back end of what's his name? Warren Gallen's favorite son, Gareth Anscombe, had a bit of a injury during the warm-up, so they put him out for safety, and they put Dan Biggar, who's actually injured, on the bench. Okay, okay. So Wales, Gareth Anscombe pulled out with like a bit of a leg thing or whatever, and they put Dan Biggar on the bench to cover. Okay, who's actually injured. Dan Biggar didn't play. He was just in case, but it shows Anyway, let's move on. England versus Samoa. 18 points to 17. Atrocious game by England. Really, Samoa looked much more like really, really good performance by Samoa. Only to fell just short. There was there was the first time we saw the burnout Foley clause being implemented in this game where Samoa scored a try. The try was given, conversion was taken, and then the TMO went back and said, hang on, there was a knock on in leading up to the try and declined the try despite the conversions being taken. And that was the rule that was implemented after Bernard Foley doing a similar trick in 2022, where he kicked the penalty goal to stop a TMO review on a potential forward pass during the Below Cup in 2022. And after that, they changed the rules to make sure that the TMO is allowed to go back and review a potential review a try even after the penalty goal has been taken. Next up, Ireland versus Scotland. This was a incredibly impressive game by Ireland. Won the game. The game was in the bag 43 minutes in, and Johnny Sexton was taken off the field. And then Scotland had a bit of a surge of comeback, 14 points, 2 back-to-back tries, and then Ireland was able to, slowly grind out the game and not like the game was over like 43 minutes in. Ireland was 31 points to 0, 43 minutes, so 3 minutes in the second half. Very impressive. And then the reserves struggled a bit against Scotland, and final score 36 points to 14. Ireland making out of the pool as the number 1 seed. Japan versus Argentina. This was an absolutely awesome game to watch. Very, very tight game, back and forward. Once again, I think the Japanese fitness hurt the team a little bit in the second half, and it was just like their previous outings against England and against Samoa. Japan was kind of like hanging in there, clinging into the game with goal kicking, and then wasn't able to wasn't able to hang on, and then Argentina pulled away 39 points to 27. Very entertaining match. Tonga versus Romania. This was the win that both team was looking for, and Tonga really just came out looking a lot sharper than Romania. Romania put on a good fight, but this was the game that the Tongans really wanted to win, and they put on a bit of a show. I think, the Charles Piutau, Celeste Piutau, he wants to be called now, really showed that his quality in this match. And Tonga 45-24. And finally, the big upset on the weekend. Portugal came out swinging for the fence with a game plan. And the game plan for the Portugal was just little kicks behind, keep the Fijians running. A lot of the times it didn't work out for them. The accuracy was a bit low, but eventually the Fijians was too tired, and Portugal in the dying minute or so was able to find a gap down the sideline to put them wrong 50 meters and score the winning try, 24 points to 23. This was a very poor performance by Fiji once again. The players look tired. The players look like they didn't know what the game plan was. I'm not sure if they had a game plan. There was a lot of handling errors from the Fijians, and they were lucky. They didn't look like they were out there to win the game. They looked like they were out there to just try to hang on to the bonus points so they don't get eliminated. Yeah, but still, with this loss, they still got the bonus point that they need, and to eliminate the Wallabies from the Rugby World Cup. So the quarterfinals is set like so. We've got Argentina, so Wales versus Argentina, the first game, and then Ireland versus the All Blacks, the voodoo match. This was a replay from 2019 Rugby World Cup where the All Blacks dominated the Irish. So this time Ireland was looking to amend that loss and also end the never making out of the quarterfinal voodoo that everybody's so dreading. And I think Johnny Sexton has finally old enough to be able to conquer the pressure of the quarterfinal hoodoo and take Ireland through to the semis. Yeah, we'll have to see. But the All Blacks came out this week, obviously talked a lot about amending revenge for the series loss last year in New Zealand. No one likes that. So yeah, very exciting match for that one. And then England has an opportunity to play Fiji, an opportunity to get revenge on the loss during the warm-up, where Fiji beat England at Twickenham. Yeah, so this is an opportunity for England to get that back. And, with the way that Fiji played and the way England played against Samoa, if England don't put on Owen Farrell, sorry, if England do decide to put on Owen Farrell, then we may have a game at hand. But if England make the smart decision to not play the captain, I think it's going to be a very rough day for the Fijians, especially based on that performance against Portugal. Yeah. And finally, the final match of the week, this is one I've been dreading the most, is France versus the Springboks. Antoine Dupont has been cleared to play. He's going to be wearing some kind of headgear and maybe even a mask. We'll have a look at that in a minute. But yeah, this will be the dreaded match for the week. So yeah, obviously the Springboks. Springboks was in a bit of political turmoil this week with some there was a so let me just how do I even describe what happened? So basically, the South African government was supposed to amend the anti-doping laws, right? So the World Anti-Doping Code, the Wildkard code, they have to adopt that. And the South African government, I'm guessing, completely forgot this was a thing and just did not amend the law. And then as a result, for not amending the anti-doping code, they are threatened to, they're threatened to not allow to use to represent the national teams, are not allowed to wear the national flag when competing in international matches. The same punishment as the Russians had, how they had to play the Olympics. Some of the athletes under a neutral banner. That's basically the same punishment here for facing all South African, not just the Springboks, but all South African sporting teams. So with that warning, with that, the final deadline set to 13th of October, which is just 2 days from now, the South African government has woken up and then decided to try to rush this through the legislations. So first thing they did is issued an appeal for the non-compliance, and the issuance of the appeal, the start of the appealing process allows the Springboks to wear the flag again. Yeah, it basically extends the deadline. That's basically what happened. So it hasn't been resolved yet. It's just been, the deadline just has been extended as the process of the appeal process. So just give a little background here. So the this update was issued on January the 1st, 2021. So the government had 3 years? 2 years? No, yeah, 3 years, because it's the 1st of January, almost 3 years to amend this. And South Africa and Bermuda are the only two countries who hasn't done so. So I'm guessing they were looking at this at their offices, and then suddenly load shedding happened, and they're just oops, forgot. And then now they're in a situation where they have to rush it through. So basically they're looking, that is the the extent to how bad this was, how poorly managed the governing body is in South Africa. So so there was also a warning on 28th of September on their website that the South Africa may face to complete under a neutral flag. That was ignored because I guess you won't be able to visit their website without electricity, right? And then they filed an appeal as of as of a couple of days ago, and then basically that means it extends the deadline during the appealing process, right? And basically they were just we're trying to get it pushed through. Government and ANC. Anyway, I don't want to get into politics in South Africa, but basically they're just South Africa is a constitutional democracy. Enacting laws can't just be done through a stroke of a pen, so they have to push it through the parliament as quickly as possible, a fast-track legislation to get this done. So the bill was already approved last week by the cabinet, and then they're trying to get the parliament to get it through. But yeah, it is just it's really funny. Oh man, I mean, you can't really blame them, man. They're trying the best. But anyway, let's move on to some real rugby news. With the crisis averted, Rassie Rasmus is obviously, like I said, waiting for. I think they actually said they're gonna wait for the French team to announce before announcing the Springbok team this week. So we probably won't be seeing that for like maybe on yeah maybe end of tomorrow, maybe early Saturday because the game is played on Sunday. So we'll have to see how that goes. But Rassie Rasmus has come out and made some more targets, helping out the French, targeting Ian Foster, throwing another torpedo at Ian Foster. You know, obviously, Fozzie came out the week before and made a comment about boring playtime during this New Zealand versus Italy game where they blow them out. And then he mentioned that the playtime was the boring playtime was much higher than the South Africa versus Ireland game, and he's insinuating that that it's more entertaining, right? But Rassie Rasmus came out and basically pointed out the differences between the two games is only 2 minutes, so it's not really much of a difference. And then Rassie this week posted this showing the World Cup final in 1995 where South Africa has won the game against New Zealand, and the boring playtime in that match was 32 minutes. I don't know if this what included the extra time because there was extra time in play in this test match, right? So if the extra time was included, then the boring play would be actually less. Will actually be less than 32 minutes. So yeah, so which means which means even New Zealand, like the game hasn't really changed that much from 20 or years ago. But yeah, that's weird. I don't know if that that's actually interesting to know if that counts the extra time because there was a draw. And then anyway, so Rassie Rasmus has thrown another grenade at Ian Foster. And yeah, I've already talked about this sort of the decision making here before. The good news from the Springbok camp is there's no injury. So Rassie has given a bit of an update that even Lukamio Arm that was just recently called back into the camp, they have confidence that he's ready to go. So I don't know if they're gonna start him at number 13 again. They might have, yeah. I don't know if they're gonna start him at number 13. So they might. I had I put Jesse Krill on the bench. I don't know. So there's a few decisions they wanted to make there, and I have no doubt it's gonna be. There's no way it's gonna be a 7-1. It's gonna be 6-2 or 5-3, and I think they're probably gonna go for 5-3 with 100 Polo on the bench because it's just too risky. And trust me when I say this, the Springboks are very risk averse, unlike a lot of people makes them out to be. He also talked about how the communication with the referee has improved for his team, and and understanding the rules and working really hard to be disciplined. Another key area they want to focus on this weekend, and we have seen that the Springboks improving a lot in their tackling, in their discipline. And he did talk about that the last time they played France, they lost in a match that was a very epic match, but Peter Sepp du Toit had a red card early in the game, leaving the team to play with 14 players, and that was a very epic match they played last time. So yeah, some interesting stuff we can read. It's very long. They talked about a lot of different things, but that's just some of the key points out of that. So Ian Foster also came out and talked about his assessment of the Ireland performance going into the quarterfinals. And I don't know. I think Fozzie may watch my video, but he talked about how the All Blacks need to work on the more defense, which I thought was a bit weird because yes, the Irish had a really good maul, but I don't think they scored any tries with the maul against Scotland. So it is an area that the All Blacks need to improve. But this is something that I thought was really interesting, right? He said that Ireland is a really good team, really hurt you, and you against the team that's really efficient at manipulating space. So yeah, I think that's what I said. So Fozzie, if you're watching this video, please just give me a shout out during the post match conference or something. But yeah, is he watching my videos? Because that's literally what I said. So yeah, anyway, that's Ian Foster's assessment for Ireland. But not mine. Not mine. Ian Foster's. Tyrell Lomax came out and so yeah, he was obviously had a cut on his knee, and he's been given the green light to be available for selection against France, which is against Ireland, which is really, really big. His presence in a tight head position is absolutely instrumental for the All Blacks this weekend. So that's really good news. Some also interesting news that came out. So Dan Carter, Brian Habana from the Springboks, Ducetoire from France, George Smith from Australia, and Juan Martin Hernandez from Argentina will be added into the Hall of Fame of World Rugby Hall of Fame. So that's congratulations to the guys there. Well done. You all deserved it. And this one, oh yeah, so the Rugby World Cup has the numbers in France has surpassed Japan already, and it's still got like 3 rounds left. World Rugby kissing their own butt. Let's move on. So yes, Barnsley will be in charge of All Blacks versus Ireland. In fact, who's in charge of the Springboks one? We'll have to look that up in a bit. But yeah, that's the news there. And the Dupont, as I already alluded to earlier in the news report, is going to be playing this weekend. He's been cleared by the team staff, and he's been cleared by his doctor to be able to play. But there's some talks that he's going to be wearing some kind of face protection, maybe like a headgear. So the headgear is it's pretty ordinary stuff. Like it's something that's we see that frequently by the players. But the World Rugby do allow to wear a face mask, but it needs to be of certain. There are some requirements that he has to like adhere to in terms of wearing the face masks. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what he reveals. But that's the talk at the moment, that he will be potentially having headgear and a face mask on for the match. Ireland had a bit of an injury scare coming out of the game against Scotland. Mac Hansen has a what did he have? Mac Hansen had a calf, a hit to his calf, but he's gonna be okay. And also James Lowe as you can see, he had a bit of he got a gouge in his eye. He got poked in his eye by his own teammate, and he's gonna also be okay as well. So both of them will be available for selections. James Ryan, on the other hand, is currently having a wrist issue, so he's seeing a specialist about that. So there's no news yet if he's gonna be available, and that's gonna be a big loss for Ireland. James Ryan is very big. Robbie Henshaw is the other guy that will be available for selection, who's also a massive player for Ireland. McCloskey was on the bench last week against Scotland. If Robbie Henshaw is fit, I suspect that he will be taking that spot on the bench over McCloskey. So Wales has given a bit of a fitness update for some of their players as well. So Anscombe, like I said, was pulled out of the game against Portugal, but he is expecting to be okay. Liam Williams will be fine as well. Dan Biggar, like I said, he was supposedly injured, but he was already put on the bench just in case to cover for Georgia. He did not play. He had a pec muscle issue from a tackle that he made against Australia, but he will be also okay to play as well. The one bad news for Wales is Talupe Faletau, who had a broken arm. He's the one that's out. That's a massive loss for Wales. Next up, we've got injury updates for Argentina. Pablo Matera will be out of the rest of the Rugby World Cup due to a hamstring injury. It's not looking very good from the Argentinian camp for him. England has caught up Sam Underhill due to Jack Willis suffering a short-term knock, and he's not able to, just for precautionary issues, they have sent him home and brought in Underhill, who is a massive boost to the England team. I'm very interested to see. So, obviously, Owen Farrell has surpassed Johnny Wilkinson's all-time point scoring for England at 1,709. He surpassed that quite a bit on the weekend. And he also became famous as the first person ever to miss the shot clock. So yeah, it was a goal right in front. He had a bit of a bit of a chat with the referee. He was, mouthing off to the referee about dangerous tackles or whatever. Yeah, very ironic. Someone who wants to talk to the referee about dangerous tackles, and he was having a bit of whinge about that, and then missed the shot clock. He completely lost track of the shot clock, and then first time ever, right in front, the goal was disallowed. The penalty goal was disallowed. A lucky, England actually won the game. If they had lost, that would have been absolutely devastating. He would have been crucified if they lost the game because of that shot clock missed. So the other injury for the French is Damien Penaud, who has a slight knock to his, I think his, what is it, his leg or something. But anyway, he had a bit of a bit here. He came off early in the game, but he's gonna be okay as well for France. So all cylinders firing for France. We already talked about Anscombe. So yeah, last week actually, Rugby Australia came out and talked about that Eddie Jones. Currently, Eddie Jones's job is safe. Yeah, and this is according to the CEO Phil Wall. He believes that firing Eddie Jones is not the answer, and currently the management is on board to keep Eddie Jones to continue the path they're on and try to fix the game from the lower levels, the Super Rugby levels and the grassroots levels. But this is not absolutely confirmed yet because they are, what do you call it? They are still doing an independent review of the Wallabies, and then if this is not the final decision, so the decision could still be made. It's subject to the independent review, result of independent review. So there still could be a result that sees this assessment to be changed. And finally, Tongan coach came out, Torai Kefu being eliminated from the match, and this was his final outing as the head coach for Tonga. He talked about some things that he wants to see from the Tongans going forward, more time together as a team and more time playing competitive matches. So at the moment, they are having the Pacific, what do they call it? The Pacific Cup being played at the moment with every year now. I think they're gonna do it with Japan, Australia A, and Samoa, which is really good for Tonga. I think the biggest issue for the team is having players available for them to play. A lot of these teams like Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, not because one of the big issue for them is they don't have access to their players who plays in Europe. Those players are not released by their clubs because the clubs don't see don't want to bear the risk for them to play in these games, and that's something I think maybe should be changed to allow the players play for their nations ahead of their club rugby. So yeah, it's something that it's a big issue, and yeah, not sure how that's gonna get fixed up. But yeah, anyway, that's the news for this week, guys. Let me know your thoughts on any of the articles. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you probably tomorrow when the Springboks announces their team. If not, I will be doing previews for the quarterfinals. Thanks for the guys who donates the money and supports me financially with the YouTube membership and Patreon. I do appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later this week, and have a good one. Cheers.